Fantastic. That could not have gone off better. Yeah, that was an excellent album. I got a sneezing fit coming up. Hang on a sec. Okay, I'm back, man. Yeah, so, yeah, man, hey, this is a really, really good mixing and melting together of two different acts, Ian Gillan representing his own specific style, and then mixing that up with the likes of Black Sabbath. Of course, I'm comparing Ian Gillan to previous singers in Ronnie James Dio and Ozzy Osbourne. But the sound overall that they're creating with Gillan is really, really good. Their musicianship is on point. His vocals are really, really good, strong and clear. Hey, fantastic first outing, man. I know that it was only one album that he had done, and I definitely want to know why that was. Maybe there were creative differences, not sure, but I definitely like the sound, this new Black Sabbath sound with Ian at the helm. I think that it sounded really, really good, man. So let's do a little background, man. Let's okay, I'm at the Wikipedia page here. There's a ton of information, man. A ton. So yeah, I'm just gonna bounce around here. There's just no way I'm gonna read everything. But let's see if we can get to the bottom of how it came about, why he only did one album with them, and the main meat and potatoes of it all. So, Born Again. Born Again is the 11th studio album by English heavy metal band Black Sabbath, released in August of '83. It's the first and only album the group recorded with lead vocalist Ian Gillan, best known for his work with Deep Purple. It was also the last Black Sabbath album for 5 years to feature original bassist Geezer Butler and the last to feature original drummer Bill Ward. Though Ward did record a studio track with the band 15 years later on their '98 live album reunion. The album has received mixed reviews from critics, but was a commercial success upon its 1983 release, reaching number 4 in the UK charts. The album also hit the top 40 in the US. Okay. Origins. Let's go to Origins. Following the departure of vocalist Ronnie James Dio and drummer Vinny Appice in '82, Sabbath's future was in doubt. The band switched management to Don Arden, that's Sharon Osbourne's father, and he suggested Ian Gillan as the new vocalist. That band was put together on paper, guitarist Tony Iommi revealed in '92. We'd never rehearsed. The band had considered vocalists such as Robert Plant and David Coverdale before settling on Gillan. They even received an audition tape from a then unknown Michael Bolton. Iommi told Hit Parader magazine in late '83 that Gillan was the best candidate, saying his shriek is legendary. Gillan was at first reluctant, but his manager convinced him to meet with Iommi and Butler at the Bear Pub in Oxford. After a night of heavy drinking, Gillan officially committed to the project in February of '83. The project was originally intended to be a new supergroup, and the members of the group had no intention of billing themselves as Black Sabbath. At some point after the recording had been completed, Arden insisted that they used a recognizable Sabbath name, and the members were overruled. "We thought we were doing a kind of Gillan, Iommi, Butler, Ward album," recalled bassist Geezer Butler. "That is the way we approached the album. When we had finished the album, we took it to the record company and they said, well, here's the contract. It's going to go out as a Black Sabbath album." End of story. Born Again featured the return of founding member Bill Ward on drums, who was newly sober after leaving the band in 1980 to deal with his alcoholism. Ward began drinking again near the end of the sessions and returned to LA for treatment once the album was complete, and has remained sober ever since. Ward has said that he enjoyed making the album, which remains his final studio album with the band. Yeah, let's skip down to recording. In his autobiography, Iommi recounts Gillan informing him that during sessions, he planned to live outside the house in a marquee tent. I thought he was joking, but when I arrived at the manor, I saw this marquee outside and I thought, fucking hell, he's serious. Ian had put up this big, huge tent. It had a cooking area and a bedroom and whatever else. Gillan brought an immediacy to the songwriting that was uncommon for Sabbath. Ian's lyrics were about sexual things or true facts, even about stuff that happened at the manor there and then. Iommi recalls in his memoir, they were good, but quite a departure from Geezer's and Ronnie's lyrics. For example, Gillan returned from a local pub one evening, took a car belonging to drummer Bill Ward, and commenced racing around a go-kart track on the manor's study property. He crashed the car, which burst into flames after he escaped uninjured. He wrote the album's opening, Trashed, about the experience. Man, this must have been a real crazy time. The band got along well, but it became apparent to all involved that Gillan's style did not quite mesh with the Sabbath sound. In '92, he told director Martin Baker, quote, "I was the worst singer Black Sabbath ever had. It was totally incompatible with any music they'd ever done. I didn't wear leathers. I wasn't of that image. I think the fans probably were in a total state of confusion." Was that the case for you, going back in time? Were you in a total case of confusion about this coming together between Gillan and Black Sabbath? How did you feel back then? In '92, Iommi admitted to Guitar World, Ian is a great singer, but he's from a completely different background, and it was difficult for him to come in and sing Sabbath material. And Bill Ward recalled, I saw Ian go into the studio one day, and I was fortunate and honored actually to be part of a session. I watched him lay tracks on Keep It Warm. I felt like Ian was Ian in that song. I watched this incredible transformation of this man that really, I felt, delicately put lyrics together. It made sense. I thought he did an excellent job, and I really dig that song too. For all his misgivings, Gillan remembers the period fondly, stating in the Black Sabbath 1978 to 92 documentary, "But by God, we had a good year, and the songs, I think, were quite good," unquote. All right, man. Yeah, so let's just hit just a few more sentences in release and reception. It's quite a lot. Critic got a lot to say, man. Release and reception. So Born Again was released in August of '83 and was a commercial success. It was the highest charting Black Sabbath album in the UK since Sabbath Bloody Sabbath and became an American top 40 hit. Despite this, it became the first Black Sabbath album to not have an RIAA certification in the US. The album received mixed reviews upon its release. AllMusic's Eduardo Rivadavia wrote that the album has gone down as many of heavy metal's all-time greatest disappointments, and described Zero to Hero, Hotline, and Keep It Warm as embarrassing. Wow. Blender contributor Ben Mitchell gave the album 1 out of 5 stars and claimed that the music on Born Again was worse than its cover. Martin Charles Strong, the author of the Essential Rock discography, wrote that it was an exercise in heavy metal cliches. However, Pop Matters contributor Adrian Begrand has noted the album as overlooked. The British magazine Metal Forces defined it as a very good album, even if Gillan may not be the perfect frontman for the Sabs, unquote. So despite the overall negative reception with critics, the album remains a fan favorite. Author Martin Popoff has written that if any album in the history of Black Sabbath is getting a new set of horns up from metalheads here deep into the new century, it's Born Again. In '84, Ozzy Osbourne stated that the album was the best thing I've heard from Sabbath since the original group broke up. And Butler had pointed out to Zero the Hero and Disturbing the Priest as his favorites on the album. Okay, man. Yeah, let's stop there. There's a lot more, but yeah, I'm not going to keep reading that. That was quite something in regards to how people are receiving the album. You know, it's night and day, man, with these critics. But overall, it's a fan favorite. So as a fan, when this came out, how did you take it? What did you feel in regards to the sound between Gillan and Black Sabbath? Did you approve of it? Did you like it? And personally, I think that it sounds great. I think that Black Sabbath as a group with their instrumentation had gotten even better. And when Gillan joins them, yeah, you know, they all elevated each other to another level. Sure, you know, maybe they can write better songs, more catchy grooves. They can put more, I don't know, notable commercial hits on the charts or what have you. But you can't deny that their sound is really, really good. The quality of their production is excellent, and Gillan's vocals are totally on point. I think it's a really, really good amalgamation here, you know, bottom line. And if they were given a chance to make a few more albums, I think that they would have done very well with that. So, okay, so Ian left mainly because of creative differences, but there were no hard feelings. And hey, that's good. That's the best that you can hope for. Let's go back to Robert Plant being mentioned in here. So back in '82, if they're considering Robert Plant as a vocalist in Black Sabbath, what would that sound like? Because it's not the same Robert Plant from 1969, 1970. You know what I'm saying? I know that around the time of Presence, he had his accident. He had some work done on his vocals, and so he couldn't hit those notes anymore. He was not in '82 the Robert Plant of '69, 1970. I think to really pull it off well, they need the Robert Plant of 1969, 1970, where he can just bellow and just go. The Robert Plant of 1982, I don't think that he would have had it to helm Black Sabbath. What do you think? Let me know about that. Also, too, let me know what you think about Michael Bolton. What would a Michael Bolton sound like at the helm of Black Sabbath? Let's just go with that for a minute. Answer that for me, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to laugh at it. It's just in contrast to Michael Bolton, right? But maybe he would have been pretty damn good. Let me know what you think about that. Very, very interesting. Let's see now. So, Black Sabbath. So where the Unholy Trinity is concerned here going forward, I'm going to continue to do my chronology of Deep Purple and Black Sabbath. I'm going to continue to do my song-to-song, album-to-album of Led Zeppelin. And after Led Zeppelin's album stuff is done, I'll go to their live stuff. I still got to finish off some stuff from The Song Remains the Same, man. And there's more too. I got to go to their 1970. Why the hell can't I ever remember what it's called? 1970. Where a lot of their work appeared on Coda. You know what I'm talking about. There's a couple of live segments for Led Zeppelin that I have to do. So that's my plan going forward with the Unholy Trinity, just going all the way to the very, very end. And then this is the end of April. So the month of May is coming upon us. I'm going to be finishing off Who month. And then we're going to be hitting Bob Dylan. And also, it's the beginning of the start of the new channel that I'll be doing. So I'm going to be splitting my works between the classic rock platform and this new alternative channel, as I would call it. And but you know, there'll still be enough activity in there. I had to sacrifice something, and that being the artist of the month. So Bob Dylan month in May will be the last of the artist of the month run for a while. We'll see down the road what happens with it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Bob Dylan month. And we've had a really nice, successful experimenting time in April, the patrons and I, in regards to Well, The Who's got a very vast catalog, even deeper rabbit hole than Led Zeppelin, and I think I navigated it very, very well and successfully thanks to the help of the patrons' guidance. So they're like, yeah, man, react to this, follow the chronology here, break it up and do a couple of complimentary quads here, let's do some live stuff here, and then let's end the month with this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? So that really helped. Could you imagine me trying to fool around with that shit on my own? Damn, man. So I'm going to need the patrons to help me out with this again, especially with Bob Dylan month, man. I should have done this back in February with Neil Young, because, man, I was lost with Neil Young, and I didn't get as much done as I would have done if I'd, kind of followed this path. So it's a learning experience. I'm going to have to revisit Neil Young stuff. I didn't even get halfway through. So with Bob Dylan, well, of course, I'm not going to get all the way through Bob Dylan stuff, but I'm going to hit those really, really important marks. So I think the patrons will probably say, yo, do this compilation, do this and this and this, and then, they'll kind of guide me along. So I'm counting on that. Otherwise, I'm going to be like a feather in the whirlwind in May. Anyway, man, hey, so that is my lineup of what's going to happen in the next week or so. And where Black Sabbath is concerned, I'm looking forward to their next album. I don't know who the lead vocalist will be going into the next album, so that'll be very, very interesting. So anyway, man, I really enjoyed this. This was excellent. I would say, if forced at gunpoint, Zero to Hero is my favorite song on the album. I just like the groove, I like the vocals, and I like the whole extended instrumentation. And even in the outro, the instrumentation was just long and extended, and it took its time. I really, really like those qualities about Black Sabbath songs. So I would say Zero to Hero is my favorite off of the album, but the whole album collectively is really excellent. I would just basically put on play and just let it all go, man. Anyways, I'm out of here. Hope you enjoyed this reaction, and I don't know when next I'll have the time to do another Black Sabbath. I'll probably imagine the first week or two into next month, once I've kind of gotten a feel for how things are going with Bob Dylan, how things are going with the new channel and all of that sort of thing. So I'm guessing probably in another week or two I'll be hitting up another Black Sabbath reaction, as well as another Deep Purple reaction. So the Unholy Trinity still lives, man. All right, you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you later. Peace.